bata tayo ng Math-aral. Sa Math, walang maiiwan. Math-sayang Math-aral tayo ng Math-tuto, upang ika'y umasenso. Maging matyaga, maging matalino, halina Math-aral na tayo. Maging matyaga, maging matalino, halina Math-aral na tayo. Halina Math-aral na tayo. Halina Math-aral na tayo. Halina, 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 aral na tayo.
Magandang araw po sa ating lahat. So our topic for this week is related rates. So at the end of the learning episode, students are expected to solve situational problems involving related rates. Related rates is the study of how two or more quantities that change with time are connected and can be linked with an equation in which the rates of change may be found by differentiating both sides of the equation. So here are the steps. So first, we're going to read and understand the problem. Second is we're going to make a carefully labeled diagram. Third is we're going to write down and label constants, variables, rates, and what is being sought. Fourth, we're going to write a function that relates with the variables. Fifth is we're going to differentiate all terms in relation to time, t, or shall I say in respect to time, e. Then we're going to substitute known quantities. Okay, so a stone dropped in a pond sends out a circular ripple whose radius increases at a constant rate of 5 feet per second. After 10 seconds, how rapidly is the area enclosed by the ripple increasing? So first, we're going to draw the carefully labeled diagram. Okay, so this is the circle, and here's the center along with its radius. Okay, so what are we going to do next is we're going to state the given quantities. So our time is 10 seconds. Okay, so what are we going to do is we're going to state the rate, which is dr over dt. Why dr over dt? Because it is based on the change of the radius. So the radius increases at a constant rate of 5 feet per second is dr over dt. Okay, so our dr over dt is 5 feet per second. So based on the problem, our radius is not yet given. So in order to look for the radius, what are we going to do is to multiply the rate according to the change of the radius with the time. So we're going to cancel the second kasi ang distance ng radius natin is feet. So 5 times 10 is equal to 50 feet. So our radius is 50 feet. Okay, so going back to this problem, okay, so yung 10 seconds na yan, which is t. Okay, so how rapidly is the area enclosed by the ripple increasing? So yung rate na yon ay dA over dt. But the question is, do we know the value of dA over dt? Syempre, hindi pa. That's why we're going to write a question mark. Okay, since the figure is the circle, so we can state the area of the circle. Okay, next we're going to differentiate both sides in respect of t. Okay. So what are we going to do is our radius is 50. So we're going to substitute the known quantities. So our dr over dt is 5 feet per second. Okay, so 2 times 50 is 100 times 5 is 500 pi feet squared over second. So it means to say that the rate of change is 500 pi feet squared over second. So based on the problem, okay, so the area enclosed by the ripple increasing is rapid at the rate of 500 pi feet squared per second. Okay, so that is our dA over dt. So our second problem is a 25-foot ladder rests against a vertical wall. If the bottom of the ladder is sliding away from the base of the wall at the rate of 30 feet per second, how fast is the top of the ladder moving down the wall when the bottom of the ladder is 7 feet from the base? So we're going to draw the problem. So here is the ladder, which is 25 feet. Then the bottom of the ladder from the base is 7 feet. So we do not know the distance between the top of the ladder from the bottom. So yung y ang hindi natin alam. So what are we going to do is to solve using the Pythagorean theorem. So yung hypotenuse natin is 25 feet. Okay? So we're going to substitute based on this figure. So our x is 7 feet squared plus y squared, then 25 feet squared. Okay, so what are we going to do is we're going to find the square of each value. So it will become 49 feet squared plus y squared equals 625 feet squared. So what are we going to do here is we're going to solve for y squared. So 625 minus 49 is 576 feet squared. Okay, so what are we going to do is we're going to solve for y by squaring out or finding the square root of both sides. So it becomes y then 24 feet. So our y is 24 feet. So now we're going to go back to this formula for the sake of differentiation. Okay, so what are we going to do is we're going to state also the given. So now we have x and y. Then here, if the bottom of the ladder is sliding away from the base of the wall at the rate of 3 feet per second, so ito yung x natin, ito yung y na natin. So it means to say, ang dx over dt natin is 3 feet per second. Okay, so since the bottom of the ladder is sliding away from the base of the wall, so ang magbabago yung x. So our x changes. Okay, so based on the problem, we can mention that our dx over dt is 3 feet per second. Then, how fast is the top of the ladder moving down the wall when the bottom of the ladder is 7 feet from the base? So, bale, pag nag-move yung top of the ladder, we can say that it is dy over dt. Ang hinahanap na natin is dy over dt. Kasi pag sinabing dy over dt, it determines the change of the rate yun sa top of the ladder mismo. Yung top of the ladder kasi, pag nag-move down siya, so kailangan na natin ma-determine yung rate of change ng y natin. So, yung y kasi, yun yung pader. Yung x na yan, yan yung sahig. Okay, so now we're going to differentiate both sides. in respect of time. So 2x dx over dt plus 2y dy over dt equals 0. Okay, so we're going to substitute the known quantities. So 2 times 7 feet times 3 feet per second plus 2 times 24 feet times dy over dt equals 0. So now we're going to multiply 2 with 7 feet with 3 feet per second. So 2 times 7 is 14 times 3 is 42 feet squared over second plus 2 times 24 is 48 feet then times dy over dx equals 0. So what are we going to do next is we are going to solve for dy over dx. So, tinranspose natin yung 42 feet squared over second sa kanan. Kaya naging negative po siya. Okay, so now, what are we going to do next? Is we're going to solve for dy over dx by dividing both sides by 48 feet. Okay, so, ngayon, magsisimplify na tayo ng lowest term. So, dy over dt pala ito. Sorry. So, it's not sanay kasi ako sa dy over dx eh. Kaya, dy over dt ito. Okay, so, imbis na dx sa baba, magiging dt na siya. Okay, so dito, so negative 42 over 48 is negative 7 over 8. Pag sinabing feet squared over feet, magiging feet na siya over second. So, ito na po yung rate na natin. Ito na po yung sagot na natin. Ito na yung dy over dt natin. So, we can conclude that the top of the ladder moves down the wall when the bottom of the ladder is 7 feet from the base at the rate of negative 7 over 8 feet over second. So, bale, nagdi-decrease siya kasi negative siya. So, pag nagsaslide kasi ang ladder, lalaki yan si X. Hahaba si X, pero iikli si Y kasi pabagsak nga si ladder. Okay? So, our third problem is water runs into a conical tank at the rate of 10 feet cube per minute. The tank stands point down and is 24 feet deep and 16 feet across. So, how fast is the water level rising when the water is 12 feet deep? So, dito po, magdodraw po tayo ng representation ng isang cone. Yung conical tank na yan ay cone talaga. So, dito po, we can tell that the height, pag sinabing height, deep eh. Deep is height eh. So, our height is 24 feet. Then, our radius is, since across siya, pag sinabing across, diameter siya. Pero, ang hanapin na natin is radius. So, our diameter is 16 feet. Pero, ipag dinivide na natin sa 2, yung radius natin ay magiging 8 feet. Okay, so, dito po, we can write it here, 8 feet. Tapos, dito naman po ay 24 feet. Okay, so, magre-refill po ako ng water dito. So, ito yung R, tapos ito yung H. Okay, so dito po, similar triangles na yung concept natin. So, we're going to solve it with using the concepts of ratio and proportion. So, ito yung H over R natin. So, ito yung height and radius of an unknown triangle. Tapos, dito naman, yun sa known triangle natin is 24 over 8. So, dito po, ang gagawin natin is magko-cross multiply po tayo. Okay? So, what are we going to do is we're going to look for the radius. Okay? Kasi ang tinatanong is how fast is the water level rising when the water is 12 feet deep. So, ang hahanapin na natin is dH over dt. So, pag sinabing water level, masasabi na natin height siya. Tapos, pag sinabing feet cube, may idea na tayo. So, volume na to. So, we can say na dV over dt na to. Okay, so, dividing both sides by 24, so 8h over 24, then simplifying to lowest term, magiging 1/3 h na siya. Okay, so we can mention the volume of the cone. So 1/3 pi r squared then h. So substituting po, what are we going to do is we're going to substitute the given radius which is 1/3 h. Okay, so we're going to simplify po is 1/3 squared is equal to 1 over 9 plus h squared then h. So 1/3 times 1 over 9 is 1 over 27 pi then h cubed. So this is now the volume in respect of the height. So now what are we going to do is we're going to differentiate dv over dt, then it will become 3 over 27 by h squared. So now we're going to simplify it into lowest term. So magiging 1 over 9 pi h squared times dh over dt. Okay? So we're now differentiating both sides according to in respect to time. Okay, so now we have what is given right now. So what is being asked is yung h na to is 12 feet. Tapos yung dv over dt is 10 feet cube over minute. Okay, so now magsasubstitute po na tayo. So 10 feet cube over minute equals 1 over 9 pi, then 12 feet squared, then dh over dt. So what are we going to do is we're going to simplify according to PEMDAS rule. Okay, pag sinabing 12 feet, then squared, magiging 144 feet squared siya, tapos over 9, then pi, then dh over dt. So what are we going to do is we're going to divide 144 with 9. So the answer is 16. So 10 feet cube over minute equals 16 pi feet squared dh over dt. So what are we going to do next is we're going to solve for dh over dt by dividing both sides by 16 pi feet squared. Okay, so simplifying to lowest term, so 10 over 16 will become 5 over 8. Then, since yung pi ay nasa ilalim, ikakopy na natin si pi, then feet over minute. So, we can say that our dh over dt is 5 over 8 pi feet. Okay, so we can say that our dh over dt is 5 over 8 pi feet per minute. So we can say that the water level rises at the rate of 5 over 8 pi feet per minute. Okay, so the fourth problem states that a man 6 feet tall walks at a rate of 4.5 feet per second away from a street light that is 16 feet above the ground. At what rate is his shadow lengthening? At what rate is the tip of his shadow moving? So first we're going to draw a diagram representing this problem. So the street light's height is 16 feet while the man's height is 6 feet. Okay, so here is the x, which is between the man and the street light, and the y measures between the tip of the shadow and the man. Okay, so we're going to solve using the concept of similar triangles. So this is for the larger triangle, while this is for the smaller triangle. So now we're going to cross multiply. Okay, so magko-cross multiply po tayo. Okay, so what are we going to do next is we're going to multiply using distributive method here. So 6 times x is 6x, then 6 times y is 6y. So now, what are we going to do is we're going to combine like terms by transposing 6y to the left side. So magiging negative 6y na siya. Then, we're going to retain 6x at the right side. So what are we going to do is we're going to simplify until we differentiate it. So differentiating both sides, so it will become 10 dy over dt. Since we are differentiating in respect of time, then our x will be dx over dt. Okay, so going back to the problem, okay, so 4.5 feet per second is the rate wherein the man walks away from a street light. So bale, yung shadow na wino-walk niya from a street light. So, yung distance mismo, yun yung nagre-represent ng x. Okay, so bali ang rate nito ay dx over dt. Okay, so ibig sabihin po, ang dx over dt natin is 4.5 feet per second siya. So what are we going to do here is we're going to substitute the given quantities. So yung dx over dt niya is 4.5 feet per second. So now, what are we going to do is we're going to multiply, which will be 27 feet per second. Then we're going to divide both sides by 10. Okay. So 27 divided by 10 will be 2.7 feet per second. So, bale, ito po yung dy over dt natin. So, ibig sabihin, the shadow lengthens at 2.7 feet over second. Okay, so at what rate is the tip of this shadow moving? So, bale, ang gagawin natin is we're going to add dx over dt with dy over dt. So, yung dx over dt natin is 4.5 feet per second plus yung dy over dt natin is 2.7 feet per second. So, adding both, so it will become 7.2 feet per second. So, ibig sabihin po nun, so ito yung rate kung saan nag-move yung tip ng kanyang shadow. Yan, 7.2 na yan. So, going back, okay. So, we're going to copy this. We're going to transfer this.
So, ito po yung 2.7 feet per second. Tapos dito naman po ay 4.5 feet per second. So, pag i-add to, so, ibig sabihin po, pag in-add siya, magiging 7.2 feet per second. So, ito po yung rate kung saan nagmo-move yung tip ng kanyang shadow. So, ito po yung tip ng kanyang shadow mismo. Ito po yung tip ng kanyang shadow. Okay? So, therefore, the rate lengthens at 2.7 feet per second pagdating sa kanyang shadow. Pero pagdating sa tip of his shadow, it moves at 7.2 feet per second. Okay? So, do not forget to subscribe the MTM channel and click the notification bell so stay tuned for more videos. Stay safe and happy learning. Thank you and God bless you. Have a great day, everyone.